and I already worked on project, like art-based project, and we were also thinking about doing something similar in the future. And then the COVID hit, and the situation was like, okay, what do we do? What shall we focus on? How do we move online? How do we teach? How do we research?
I remember watching television at the beginning of COVID, and watching for anything that was arts-based that was unique and different. Like those kind of songs where they had different tiles, people singing. And I thought, oh, record that. I got to remember that. Oh.
As educators, we have to improvise a lot and fast. And we thought that actually this is one of the strengths of the arts.
This idea of engaging in acting and theater, but doing it in isolation from one another. When the whole idea around acting and putting together, or telling a story, putting together a story is really about relationships and being in relationships.
So we thought, okay, so what is the role of the arts in equitable education during the COVID-19 and those times of crisis and big shifts, and that was really exciting.
This project, which takes place across Canada, we have members from Nova Scotia to British Columbia and everywhere in between, looks at how online play building might be an optimal approach for reshaping equitable education and research. It was a year-long process which included researchers, educators, administrators, stakeholders, students and parents, and we participated together using movement, poetry, filmmaking, and drama, and bringing our own life learnings to the project so that we could share our experiences during and after the pandemic.
Equitable education, to me, stands for extending the rights to education to all students.
No matter ability, interest, background, etc. Everybody has access to learning.
And by everyone, I mean from all different cultures, races, religions, sexualities.
We are able to hold space and have brave conversations and provide support for our learners.
It's the type of teaching that caters to different types of learners simultaneously so that no one learner stands out.
Diverse students may have different needs to perform at their optimal level. So equity in education for me would mean providing them with what they need to develop their skills and to perform at their best.
So we jumped into the project, and boy, was it fun, but we experienced a lot of hurdles.
No one is here.
It was difficult to communicate, it was difficult to connect. Even in terms of building a community, play building does it. For me this time it was harder because it was so hard to get all people at the same time working together.
Trying to get Wi-Fi set up where we are, because we're carved into a side of a mountain, is unbelievable. I was late for an online meeting because the Wi-Fi died here, and I had to drive to my parents. And you know what slowed me down? Not snow, not rain, not sleet, but a group of cows that got out.
Like the scheduling at first, just to even figure out when we could get everyone in a room, so to say, at the same time. That was such a headache at first.
Do you have to go right to talk to somebody, or do you go left to talk to somebody on your right? Like what people saw on the screen wasn't the same as how you had to move.
Cats crawling all over you and having to get them out of there.
You know, you've got a bad connection, you're seeing people on a tiny tile, you know, just head and shoulders, if that at all.
Sound, mics not turning on, mics turning on too loud, getting feedback.
Is it gallery view? Is it a presenter's view? What one is the best for particular scene?
Having screens blinking or going black.
Or you're talking to a dark screen, or they're being dropped out, or you're being dropped out, or the screen is frozen.
Children and partners coming in and distracting in the background.
Oh, yes.
We sometimes really did wonder, and it was a concern, is this going to make sense to anybody who's watching this? It makes sense to me because we've read the script, because we've had conversations, but is anybody else going to get this?
I would love to hear your ideas about community involvement during the pandemic for our grade 9 to 12 students.
Well, it's a challenge to
I'm sorry?
Though there were many things that were difficult, things were starting to come together, and we had a sense of unity, and we had a sense of community that pushed us through and made us start to believe this play was really something. It was coming together.
Hey, it's time. Send each other some shine.
One of the things I enjoyed the most was the found poem exercise that we did. So taking words that everybody posted on the Jamboard and then writing monologues and scenes or poems from those words, and sort of from the energy of everybody sort of contributing to it.
The cast and people who have participated are from everywhere. And we still have managed to put something cool together and something meaningful. And I think that's really neat. That doesn't happen very often, I don't think. Like I said, it's really hard to do art not in person. So to pull off something online, like completely online, is pretty amazing.
I'm a pretty positive person, but I have rarely come into spaces where I have seen people come together for a common purpose and work harmoniously to execute that goal. And so that is what I think was most incredible.
I'm proud to be part of a project which tries to have all the voices heard. I think this project has a lot to say. It shows that each individual can experience a unique situation in this pandemic, hugely different.
The scenes that we recorded and read, before I could only really attach those types of things to individual experiences. And so now I can see it more as a collective experience, a broader set of experiences, not just the people that I know and I'm connected with.
And I loved the diversity of the pace and the way we all put it into a story form, how it came from the blank page and the confusion of how are we ever going to put this together and how it makes sense to, wow, we have a play, this is great.
For me, I'm most proud of the end product. I see our play as a reflection of all of us. I can see every member of our group in the play, and it, for me, reflected and demonstrated the true meaning of community.
Through this project, I have learned that some interesting artistic practices can be done virtually. At the same time, I guess I do miss the energy, and I do miss the connection with people when working online.
Well, it definitely helped me reflect back on this time and the challenges we went through as educators, our students, our community, our lives. Remember and put equity first and foremost, as this will benefit everyone, including our society and our civilization.
Using play building activities during teaching is something that I would like to include, because that's the most artful way to have students participate in the class activities.
So our initial findings are showing that the arts, regardless of whether they're in person or online, and although it was difficult at times and challenging, can still provide innovative practices in education that contribute to equitable education and research, and also give artists resiliency, growth, and learning.